Hello everyone. Anyway, I did this video months ago, and I figured I better do something with it. I might as well, get it out there. And what happened is I was gonna give a little introduction to this video, just a couple of minutes, few minutes or whatever, and it ended up being an hour, over an hour, maybe an hour and a quarter, this introduction. And it also ended up a bit on the hardcore side, not meant for YouTube. It's about an individual, and it deals with toddlers and aliens. So I figured I better not stick it on YouTube, right? Alien Tube. Because they're gonna get hysterical, they're gonna get insecure, and you know what happens when the alien becomes insecure? So I cut all that out and made it into a separate video, and what I'm going to do with it, I have no idea at this point. The other thing that happened is a video that I did a few years ago, if you can believe this, was taken. They emailed me that AlienTube emailed me that they had removed this video because I was spreading medical disinformation. Go, what the F? Do you guys ever recall me giving any medical information about anything? It's like, what's going on here, right? And then I realized that the title, I was being satirical, and I can't even say it right now because, see, the alien has got this AI, and it's obviously not very good. Okay, it cannot pick up the usual thing, but in the title I realized that I put the V word, if you know what that is, the V word, just as satire, just a play on words. And their stupid AI algorithm picked that up, and the aliens became paranoid, like I was going to stop their agenda or something. I was I may actually wake people up, and they may revolt against the alien, or I don't know what the alien thinks, but the entire race of aliens is imbued with serious mental illness, and that's what we're suffering from. But anyway, I don't want to go there here. This is a guitar channel, right? So, just to let you know, so I cut all that out because it's about an hour and a quarter. It's about an individual and what they had done to themselves. We'll see if that comes to fruition in the next few months, maybe even years. But so I cut all that out, and I'm gonna re-upload that old video just so I'm not missing anything. You know what I mean? I don't really even give a shit if they take this whole channel down. It's not gonna it's not going to I've had the anyway, I've been sick for about 2 weeks, and it just doesn't want to go away. Sometimes these things last, but I knew I should have taken that stuff. I knew it. See? Well, anyway, where was I? Yeah, so I'm gonna upload that video and make a modification of the title. Boy, you fucking aliens are dumb fucks. Are you ever? Oh my God. Do it right. If you're gonna do it right. You know what I mean? So if they even take down this whole thing, it's not gonna do anything to me, really. Oh, one more thing. The reason actually for this new introduction that I'm constructing right now as we go along, I got onto Instagram by accident by wanting to see pictures of vintage guitars for specifications and see where the pick guards are placed and proportions and relicking. I got on there and I'm looking at these pictures and I realized that this is a highly disgusting place. I mean, I don't hang out in places like this. And the reason it's so disgusting is because it seems so artificial, it seems so sterile, and it's just this constant self-promotion that everybody does, and they do it. I mean, that's not bad. I'm not against self-promotion, but do it openly. You know, do it sincerely. Not this in a surreptitious manner. You know what I mean? You're trying to hide something and you're kind of doing it in a soft way. And what they're doing is they're self-promoting constantly, using the method of pandering to millions of toddlers just like them. The celebs and the half celebs and the minor celebs and the big celebs and any kind of thing, or anybody selling anything on there, all they're doing is pandering. They just cannot pander enough. And I'm just sick of it. There's nothing of substance on there. It's so lame, it's so cucked, that it actually makes me sick. But I'm on there. I do pick up some information. Oh, and it's full of these fakers, these CNC guitar builders. They can now afford to go buy a CNC, and then, wow, they're on their way to become PRS. Oh my God, these fakers, these frauds, these no talent. And what's really sad is some of them that do have the talent and are building guitars by hand, they can't wait to get onto CNCs. Why? It defeats the whole purpose, does it not? I mean, I'm in this so I can work with my hands. What are they trying to do? They're all trying to be PRS. And let me tell you the first thing. If you want to get a CNC guitar, I'm going to be the first one to say, buy a PRS, because they're the best at it. Okay? You're never going to bond with that guitar. You're never going to be inspired with the guitar, no matter how much you want to fool yourself into believing it. But buy a PRS. Why would you want to buy a guitar from some idiot with no recognizable name that's using a CNC machine like PRS? Go to the real deal. I think, you know, these are toddlers, and they're interacting with toddlers on Instagram, and the level of intelligence is very low. The level of awareness is non-existent. And I'm just wondering, why the heck the alien, why are they still walking around? I have no clue. Because they shouldn't be. They shouldn't be. Why did the aliens spare them? At least up to this time. Like let's get on with it. Let's get the party going. They shouldn't be walking around. Maybe you shouldn't be walking around. Maybe you're a toddler. I get toddlers that stumble onto this channel and they don't know what to make of it. Yeah, why are you walking around? A lot of scumbags out there walking around. A lot of morons. A lot of idiots. I've been telling people that they're idiots for almost my entire life, at least 30 years that people remember. People may be watching this that have followed me for about 25 years. And what is my theme? My theme is you're a effing idiot. That's my theme. And the last 3 years, I've been proven right. Times 100. Okay, so, oh yeah, Instagram. So, one thing that's good about it, it's very easy to upload shit. Okay? So, I've been uploading guitars on there that I don't want to make a long video like this. This cough's got to go away. I'm going to stay on there until they kick me off. So what I'm saying is if you want to see the latest guitars, what else I do is I use it to entertain myself. It's kind of like a cringy type of entertainment. Something that, I'm really sick of it, but at the same time, I'm going to attack them. So I put up some posts that you need to have some awareness to understand the references. Okay, because we got to speak in code, obviously, on all these alien platforms. Because we don't want the alien to detect that we're anti-aliens. Okay, they don't want that. They don't want anybody to stop their agenda, right? They're quite serious what they want to achieve. I mean, their Messiah is not going to come. I mean, that's serious stuff. Unless they achieve what they want to achieve. So, yeah, so what I do is I pick on the toddlers. I'm so disgusted by them that all I can do is expose them. And so I put up some posts like that. So if you've got some awareness, you're going to pick up on it. If you don't, well, you're not going to understand what I'm doing. And I also upload guitars that I didn't put up on, onto YouTube because it takes too long and it's too much of a hassle. So what I'm saying is come to Instagram and it's a disgusting place, but it's easy. It's easy to post things on there. And I get to study the toddler. I get to study the toddler and the alien. And I get to see all these touring acts that have no clue what they're being used for. And they're totally handled. And they're totally controlled. And they throw them out there. They put them out there. They're touring everywhere. They're going crazy. They're they're working overtime. Who their audience is, I have no clue. I guess toddlers like you know, they're there for distractions, so that they want to make sure, the alien wants to make sure it's very cheap for them to do this. Doesn't cost very much money. They put these people out. They figure they're going to be a success. They're going to be stars, and they're out there going from city to city. Sometimes, you know, they go on different continents, and it's all there for a distraction, to distract and to divert the attention of the billions of toddlers who are still walking around. And I don't understand why they're walking around, because the aliens could have taken care of them very easily. They were lining up, and it could have been a much faster process, which it should have been. And I was hoping for that last year, the year before. It's going to be a fast process, and I'm still waiting. So I don't understand it, but at the same time, they need them to be distracted, and they need to keep them stupid. And that's the definition of the toddler. It's mental stupidity, the level of a 5-year-old. But I'm going to stop right now, because I'm getting angrier and angrier at the toddlers. Even more so than the aliens. I know the aliens, what they're doing, okay? And what they have to do. What they're commanded to do. But the toddlers, I have zero respect for. So if you're a toddler, you're a piece of shit. And you shouldn't be walking around. That's all I got to say. Now, I got a good show for you. There's going to be some dancing, some singing, as you see, storytelling. It's going to be a real variety show for you with a lot of information. And I'm totally shadow banned, so you can feel very lucky to be in this exclusive club of Zachary Guitars, even if you don't own a Zachary guitar. You don't even own a Zachary stand, you son of a bitch. See what I mean? If I was just a little bit promoted by the alien, every guitar player possibly in the world would own a Zachary guitar stand. I'm not even exaggerating here. That's how easily it's done. If one dances with the aliens. You kind of get my meaning here? It's profound. It's not trivial. All right, lesson is over now. Let's start the show. So what do we have here in this presentation? We have two guitars which are a set, inseparable. One of them is a single pickup, and the other one is a 2 pickup. They're SGs. A vast improvement over the traditional, the official SG. The single pickup ones are called Junior, and the double pickup ones, the 2 pickup ones, are called Specials. That's the way Gibson did it. And I built one of each. And they're sisters. They're twins. Maybe not identical twins, but pretty damn close. All right. Well, this is first in the series of 2 SGs. And it's guitar number 248. Serial number 200723. And I've built 2 other SGs, one prior to this one and one right after this one as well, that are not necessarily part of the series. The reason these are part of the series is because these two, number 248 and number 251, which is the latest, the 251, the latest Zachary guitar, is because they have a lot of things in common. The main difference between them is this one is a 2 pickup SG, ZSG, Zachary SG, 2 pickup, and number 251 is a single pickup. They both have the same body wood, which is one piece obichi, O-B-E-C-H-E, which is an African, very lightweight wood, almost like balsa wood. And what the internet says about this wood is that it's a lightweight, strong wood with minimal knots used for frame construction of racing boats, hydroplanes, because of strength to weight to strengthness is very high. It comes from the obichi tree, which is the native of West and Central Africa, also referred to as blah blah blah. This timber is lightweight, usually pale yellow, and features a straight grain. Okay. A light yellow, pale white color with a subtle grain pattern. So it looks very much like TV yellow. And I believe I made a telly from this that I did not paint. Did I? I don't remember. But it would make a nice Blackguard Telecaster, and it would give it that pale yellow. I think, no, I made a Les Paul Special, which were originally TV yellow, so this looks like TV yellow even though it's not painted. That's pretty cool. Unlike many other wood species, it has a relatively low density, making it lightweight and easy to work with. Well, yeah, it's very soft, but it's not easy to work with. Soft woods are actually very hard to work with, and they create all kinds of problems in guitar building anyway, because they're not strong enough to support anything that has a lot of tension on it or a lot of friction on it, abrasion. It's like working with foam, you know, hard foam. You may use it for packing or house insulation or something. It's like that. Although lightweight, obichi cut to size has a very solid strength to weight ratio. Okay. Well, it's very light. It's used for model making, as I thought. So it's lightweight and easy to work with. Excellent stability and durability. I don't know about durability. What do you mean by that? It resists warping, shrinking, and splitting. Okay, that's nice. The cons: limited natural resistance to decay and insects. Okay. Vulnerability to scratches and dents. Yes, these guitars will be dented up even by you looking at it. Okay. I even put a few little dents in it while in the shop, while working on it, and just accidentally bumping my workbench with it, or my stool or something. You know, the edge of a table. So it's very soft wood. Extra care must be taken when handling and using obichi to avoid compromising its aesthetic appeal. Protective coatings or finishes can enhance its durability and minimize the risk of scratches. Yes, I did that, and I'm not going to tell you what I did, but I did put a very different finish on this, which I don't do very often. In fact, I've only done it maybe once or twice before, and always on obichi to make it harder. I basically hardened it. Limited availability of wide boards. Well, I get one-piece bodies out of it, so that's pretty good, wouldn't you say? Yes, I would. So it's unique to have a one-piece body out of this. Obichi wood in musical instruments. Its lightness and excellent resonance make it suitable for musical applications, still special consideration should be given to appropriate finishing and maintenance due to the wood's soft nature to ensure the instrument's longevity. Did you hear that? If you end up buying this pair, and this is only going to be sold because they cannot be separated. They're siblings. It's a set. And I will sell them for $25,000 each. So it's 50 grand USD. Okay? Just like the Elmo Combo Strat and Tele set, right? In a previous video, I told you all about that, and we can come up with all kinds of bullshit story about where this wood comes from if you like, if that helps. Yeah, we can come up with bullshit stories, just like the aliens. But this is not going to be promoted by the aliens, so chances are no toddler is going to want them, because toddlers never buy guitars to play. We know that. Do we know that? Well, now we know that. Now you know that. I've always known that. For decades, I've known that. Toddlers don't buy guitars to play. Toddlers are told what to buy. They listen to the media. They follow. They comply. They conform. That's the fucking toddler for ya. And what do the toddlers do? What have we learned over these videos? The toddler gives the alien its power. And its supremacy. And its rule over the world. It's the toddler that gives them that power. Can you wake up the toddler? No way. I know why, but I'm not going to tell you here. No. This is not the right platform, medium to do that kind of thing, because the alien owns virtually every platform. Can you believe that? Can you actually live with that? That's like, it's extreme. It's heinous. It's perverse. When you think about it, it's perverse. It's what's the word I'm looking for? Astonishing. Is it not? Astonishing. It's absolutely devastating to realize that. But of course, toddlers don't realize that, and they don't care. They just want to be slaves anyway. So back to obichi wood. Further, obichi's lightweight characteristic makes it ideal for crafting model airplanes, boats, light furniture, and even sculpting. The ease of carving allows detailed work to be executed flawlessly, a feature treasured by artists and hobbyists alike. So there you go, a little bit about this wood so that you appreciate it more. You know, I bought a whole bunch of this wood. I must have bought about 20 board, 20, well, they were already cut and thickness planed. And it was marked as 1 3/4 inches. And I thought, 1 3/4 inches, that would be wonderful. That's good for tellies. It's the right thickness to spec for tellies, Les Pauls. Perfect, 1 3/4. And after I bought it, got it home, I realized that, and they were cut to the right size for body, so they were dimensioned. And when I got it home, I realized that the jackass that worked in the mill of this exotic wood supplier, he cut it to exactly 1 3/4, not realizing that if you're going to get 1 3/4, you better make it thicker than 1 3/4, because the person in the shop has got to straighten it, has got to do their own milling first, get it nice and flat, because after a while it does move a little bit. Just before they make a guitar out of it, so it's gotta be wider than 1 3/4, so I could not use it for the standard traditional thicknesses that I was hoping I could use this for. But they're perfect for the SGs. They're also good for Z2s, Firebirds, and some other stuff that is less than 1 3/4 inches thick. So now you know the story behind this wood. And I didn't know what it was. I bought it. Woo! It's coming up to 25 years ago, for sure. 25 years ago, from this wood supplier that I bought a lot of stuff from. I bought all my Carina. That reminds me, I shouldn't say that word because I'm going to have my video removed by the aliens that own YouTube. We got to really watch what we say. Our tongues have been trimmed. The alien decides what we can say, what words we can use, and therefore what we can think. But you're okay with that, right? Not a problem. Not a problem. As long as you comply, you can comply your way out of this. Oh yeah, that's what you think. Anyway, back to the show. This is the neck pickup. So I'm showing you the first of the Obichi SGs. This is the 2 pickup, 2 P90s, or they may not be P90s. They're GF90s actually, in a P90 with a P90 cover on it. I believe they're GF90s, but I'll clarify that after. I gotta look at my notes, right, and my specifications. I forget what I do. I build so many guitars, I forget what I do, and each one is different. So this is the neck. This has got a 4-way rotary switch. So I'm gonna go through that. I'm just gonna keep playing and see what happens. I'm gonna have a lot of mistakes in here, but that's part of the fun, isn't it? Neck pickup. Zachary pick. Thick and balanced. The action is so low, my specifications for setting up a guitar. So you barely have to press down on the strings. With no buzzing. Again, it's not possible unless you have perfect fretwork. 26 stainless steel frets. This amp sounds even better than when Mark Miller was here. I did a few little mods to it since then. It's very touch sensitive and detailed. So you gotta play with dynamics. I got 3 levels of gain here. Put the boost on. And let's move to the, actually take the boost off. And let's move to the 3rd position, which is out of phase. Both pickups out of phase. See, again, it's a very big thing for me. Is to have the volume knob right here at a specific location where you can actually reach it while you're picking. And you should be familiar with the Gibson SGs. have the volume, they have the knobs way over here, okay? So there's no way that it could be reached. And even on the juniors and specials, they cut the same control cavity to make mass production, to make it be efficient. And even on those, they've got the 2 knobs or 4 knobs way over here. And when I point that out to the vintage guys, they get very offended because they know I'm right. Okay, let's move to the bridge. Fourth position bridge. Now let's push in the booster. I use the wah to give accents to notes. I don't use it the conventional way like Eric Clapton or whatever. Third level boost. So it's running through a 10-inch and a 12-inch. Okay, let's go back to the neck and get rid of the boat boost. Beautiful that tone is. Even if you can't play the guitar, you can really get off on the tones. That's half of playing the guitar is the beauty of the sound. tune. It's really hard to play clean. I don't know how Hendrix did it. This is originally a Hendrix tune. That's a hard spot to get it clean, playing accurately. Maybe the level's too low. So there you go. It's kind of what these guitars can do. As you can see, I got to be totally relaxed to play. I'm getting better, but I'm a very high-strung person. So, what else? Let's play something else here. Neck GF90. I think that's what I have in here, GF90s, and what they are is P90 coils with fender magnets. You can see there's no screws here. Cut the tone a bit. volume down. It's very soft and very lightweight, so it's a real challenge to build a guitar from it. And you got to do certain things for it to even support screws. You know, the screw threads get stripped very easily, and also it doesn't have the strength to support things like you know, bridge mounting studs, which all the string pressure is pulling on that. So, but nonetheless, it's a challenge, and the reason I do this is because of the challenge and the reason that I can actually build these by hand, because the whole purpose of doing this is to build, right? Is to create things by hand. And that's what a lot of these, what I would call business owners, entrepreneurs, industrialists, whatever you want to call them, they are not guitar builders. All the figures in the guitar industry that you admire so much, and the whole mass of toddlers admire so much, they are not guitar builders. You have to get that straight in your head. If you admire them for their business skills, for their marketing, yes, I agree with you. You should. They are very good at that, but they are not guitar builders. And for me, it's all about the guitar building. That's why I got into it in the first place. I was getting into it, you know, pretty much as soon as I started playing. I was trying to get into it somehow, and I didn't know how. I didn't have the tools. I didn't have the knowledge. I didn't know where to learn anything, and so I had a few false starts, and I kept at it, and finally around 1996 I got the resources and the space, and then I could buy my tools, and I could buy supplies and materials, and then design my own guitar, because I knew that I didn't want this to be like any other guitar that you see out there. And I also wanted to make sure that it doesn't look like any guitar that's out there. See, that's the problem with all these. There's a few people that do build guitars by hand. Not too many. But the big problem, the big mistake that they make is they cannot get that PRS image out of their brain. Okay? So they figure that they must make a guitar that's just like a PRS, and that defeats the purpose, right? A handmade guitar is not like a factory mass-produced guitar. So they're building these handmade guitars, and they have every intention. Their ultimate goal is to make them look like a mass-produced guitar. And of course, the toddler doesn't know fucking anything, right? The toddler just goes along with that and say, "Oh, isn't that great? It looks like a PR." Why would you want to buy these handmade guitars that look, feel, sound, whatever, just like a mass-produced guitar? You can buy something like that for $300 easily, under any particular brand. So, you know, my big problem is the toddler. Okay, it's always the toddler is my big problem. And what is the toddler? You know, what defines a toddler? It's ignorance. Ignorance is always a problem, and people commit atrocities and do all kinds of stupid, foolish things in the world, destroy the world, all because of ignorance. Okay, so let's get back to this guitar. So the body's obichi. The whole thing was that I built the guitar just prior to this, the first of the current SGs, let's say, and it's a really nice piece of one-piece mahogany, but it's a heavy piece. And that guitar came out really nice, and it's special in its own way, but it's heavy. Definitely heavy for an SG. It's not heavy for a Les Paul or anything like that, or some of the guitars that are out there, but it is heavy. And so what I wanted to do is, the purpose of this one was that I wanted to make one that's very lightweight, as light as I can go. And I achieved that. I achieved that at 5.1 pounds. This is 5.1. Now, that may not mean anything to you at all. Okay? You'll say it'll just go right past your brain, like, you know, in one ear, out the other. It doesn't mean anything to you. It's 5.1 pounds. Very lightweight, extremely lightweight. Just go and weigh your even your beloved PRS. Just go and weigh it. Put it on a fishing scale or something and see how much it weighs. So anyway, so this is very lightweight, and in order to, and the whole reason for that is because one of the vintage guitar dealers on Instagram, which, you know, the place is just littered with these vintage guitars. I don't know where they get their vintage guitars from, seriously. Probably made in China. I wouldn't doubt it. I mean, wouldn't that make sense? Get all these vintage guitars made in China, and then relic them really nice, and, you know, buy them for, I don't know, a few $100 or maybe $1,000 and sell it for 30 grand. There's big financial incentive in that, right? And especially Fenders, you know, how do you know if a Fender is real? Come on, seriously. They claim they know, but they probably get them from China, especially these 50s Fenders that they mysteriously find in almost perfect condition, you know. Oh, man. Anyway, that's a whole other story. Vintage guitar dealers. But, yeah, so this guy was very impressed with the SG that he got in, and it was an SG Junior, a single pickup one. And he was saying how lightweight it is, and, you know, a lot of these vintage guitars I can't play myself, and a lot of other people can't play because they're just not meant for modern playing. And some people suffer through it, like Stevie Ray Vaughan or whatever, because he didn't know any better. But even Stevie Ray Vaughan had his modified, especially with wide and tall frets, so that he could play it the way that he did. So these vintage guitars, a lot of them would have to be considerably modified, and then they could be brought up to date for modern playing, okay? But then, of course, they lose their value, right? So they're really meant to put behind glass, and toddlers buy them. Boomers, white boomers. How many white boomers are still out there? Really? And some you can get away with, and some you can't play at all, you know. And when you take a look at something like a like even Yngwie Malmsteen, he's got all these. He's got one of the first Strats ever made, and he says, "Well, there it is. Too bad I can't play it." And I can understand why you can't play it, because you can't play tiny frets, very low frets, you know, fingerboards that are badly designed where the strings are falling off the fingerboard, and then you've got the knobs are in the wrong place for modern playing. And so that gets us back to this guy, this vintage dealer's early 60s, very early 60s SG Junior. And if you are at all familiar with, I know my audience is not really guitar players, as weird as that is, but on an SGs, on all SGs, the knobs are way over here. So when you're playing, you can't reach the knobs. And I mentioned that to one of the coolest guys in the world, if not the coolest, Eric Coleman. And he works for Global Homo. He works for a Global Homo company, who cannot use the word blackface anymore. They have to use black panel. But anyway, he works for that company, and he bought one of these SG Juniors, and I pointed out to him, it's too bad you can never reach the knobs, and he got really offended. Oh my God, and he banned me. But anyway, it's because I was right, and so I have to redesign these vintage guitars to make them work for the modern player. And unfortunately, the modern player, I would say 95% of so-called people playing guitar today are toddlers. They're white and they're boomers, most of them. So that gives you an idea of where the guitar market is going to go in the next 10 years. It's going to go into the fucking grave. So I made the pickups. I had to make even the bobbins for the neck pickup because the pull pieces don't line up. The bobbins that one can buy for P90s. And so I had to make narrower pull piece spread in order to line up. I mean, these are the details that I look for. You wouldn't care about any of that, but it matters to me. And obviously placing the knobs exactly where they should be so that you can manipulate the volume as you play, and you're bringing down the gain if you wish, right, as you're playing. And of course the aluminum bridge, and with the you can't probably make it out, but I have removed obviously the intonation screws, because don't need them if you place the bridge correctly. A lot on these vintage and even reissues, the bridges on these things are really badly placed. I mean, in fact, they cannot even use the original bridges on the vintage SGs. The wrap around bridges like this, they can't use them because they're placed, the studs are placed in totally the wrong place. So the proper thing to do is to pull the studs, fill the original holes, and re-drill it in the correct position. But of course they won't do that because it will lose value then. Anything to improve a vintage guitar will make it lose its value. And it's got a lightweight mahogany neck. And it has a, what I believe is a walnut fingerboard. I just had this wood. A lot of times I don't know what these woods are, but if they suit the purpose, I cut them up, cut them to size, and I'm slotting my own fingerboards now. And this one has a 4-way rotary switch, and which is neck, both pickups in parallel, in phase, both pickups in parallel but out of phase, and then the bridge. 26 stainless steel frets, 26. The other thing about vintage guitars, they have either 21 or 22 frets, which is idiotic. On the SG, the necks barely are hanging on to the body. They're right off the body, falling off the body practically. No wonder Les Paul didn't like the SG, because it's got a beautiful body, okay, which this is an exact size and a clone of, okay, but it's got no edge contouring. And that's a whole other story in itself. I think I mentioned it before. It's one of these vintage guitar dealers put up a picture of a guitar that they have, apparently an SG prototype. I didn't even know that it existed. And it was just like this one. I used that as inspiration, and I didn't think anything like that would exist. But there it was, and he was selling it. Probably sold, but now to some white boomer. It had no contouring, because apparently it was a prototype, if there's any truth to it anyway. But anyway, no contouring, and it looked pretty cool. And I figured, well, that'll save me a lot of time and effort.
those are very hard to put on by hand, to carve that by hand, those contours, and get it right. Okay, I have done one right after this guitar. I did one like that, which I will show in future presentations. But no contouring on this one. Lightweight mahogany neck, walnut fingerboard, 26. So the 26 frets gives me the opportunity to bring the neck all the way into the body, and that gives it a much better balance, because the SGs, they also have terrible balance. They're neck heavy. And then if you're a real fucking toddler, I'm talking a severe toddler, you know, who is fully snake oiled up, okay, then you will take an SG, any SG, and put very heavy cast Grover tuners on it, which are like anchors, and you'll make it even more neck heavy. So there you go. So I did something to these tuners, and if you're really smart, oh my God, you're gonna tell me what that is. On both of these guitars, something to do with the tuners. Can you guess what it is? To even make them lighter. There's your clue. Okay. And also on the traditional SGs, you have the headstock on them, which you can actually break off with finger pressure. You can just go like this. Try it at home. You can just go like this, boom, press hard, and you'll break that right off. So again, terrible design, but the toddler loves it. They don't want anything else. They wouldn't buy it. They would go out and they don't protest for anything, but they you know, for the end of the world or anything like that that's happening to them. But they will protest if you take away their headstock, their tilted headstock, a very weak headstock. And Gibson tried to put that support carving in the back. I think they call it volute or something, and they didn't like that either. And it was a great idea what they did in the 70s or early 80s, and they had to stop doing it because the toddler wouldn't accept it. Anyway, all the fucking hype about these mainstream guitar companies. So there you go. There's the back of it. And you know, I hate those large cutouts for control cavities. I just fucking hate them. And I'll show you something, actually. Something very interesting about this guitar. Now, you'll only get this on Zachary Guitars. Only on Zachary Guitars. It's going to shock you. But I'll disclose it. I'll disclose it completely. So I had already cut the neck. I think I pretty much glued the fingerboard on and everything. It was all a done deal. And then I look closely. I go, what the heck is this? What the heck is this? Look at it. Look at that. You know what that is? look at that. Can you make it out? Can you make it out?
It looks horrible! My God, looking at it,
It's been filled. It's been filled. It's a crack.
It's a crack, but it's not through the wood. And that's why I kept it. See, it's only on the surface. After the... See, I noticed that prior to radiusing the neck, the back of the neck, and I thought once it's radiused, the crack will go away, but it didn't go away. So it's just about 1 millimeter going into the neck, and even that is filled. And it's not going to go anywhere because also the fingerboard is glued onto the neck, which is holding it all together anyway. So it's stable. It's not going anywhere, okay? So get it out of your head. Get your phobias out, okay? But the funny thing is that when you look at all these these guitar companies, and even, you know, especially the people that are making guitars, the few people that are making guitars by hand, you know, they get into this mindset that the fancier the wood, the better the guitar. So it's everything is flamed this and burl that, pristine, glossy, paint jobs, flawless, shine, whatever, opulence. They're making heirloom guitars, exquisite workmanship and all this shit, you know, and that doesn't make a guitar better. That doesn't make a guitar play better. It doesn't make a guitar sound better. It's just to appease and to largely deceive the fucking toddler. And I call them toddlers because mentally, intellectually, they are at the level of toddlers. And that's most people in the world, regardless of race, color, gender, age. They're toddlers, and the last 3 years has proven. And hopefully, and I'm really hoping, that all the toddlers are snake oiled up, and they're right up to date, and they keep getting their snake oil. Because the toddlers have always been a problem for me. Always. My entire life. I couldn't have any friends. How can I be friends with toddlers? It's just not possible. My God. It's all becoming clear now, isn't it? But anyway, so there you go. A cracked neck. Only from Zachary Guitars. And all those other guitar companies and hand builders and toddlers, they all shudder when they see this. So this crack right down the neck
that I didn't see, it was invisible when I chose the wood to make the neck. And I figured I put all that work in there. I'm not going to throw this away. Put all that work into it. I don't throw anything away. So you've got a guitar with a cracked neck all the way down. But it's not like a cracked headstock. This is not going anywhere. It'll never go anywhere. Okay? So I'm fully confident in that, and that's why I kept it. And so there you go. There's not much more to say about this. There we go. 2007-23. All right, lots of nice pictures on the website. And these guitars are set, and I'll show you the other one right now. I'll show you the other one next. Okay, well, here's the second in the set of 2 SGs, which I just finished. And then this is made of exactly the same wood, where the previous SG is the natural color. The guitar number 248 is the natural color obichi, and this is stained red obichi, but it's the same exact wood. One piece. Where can you get a guitar that's one piece body these days? Anyway, the difference here is that this is a single pickup dog ear P90. Other than that, it's pretty much identical, and I figured that I can go vintage guitar dealers. One of my pet peeves here. You know, they're the leaders of the toddlers, is what they are. They're the spiritual guide to the masses of toddlers, and that's guitar store owners, vintage guitar store owners are on a level all of their own. They're the elite. They're the elite of the guitar industry. They have something that's very special in black art, which is called vintage guitars, and they hype that up so much that the toddler literally becomes hysterical when they hear the word. And they have no idea why they like vintage guitars, but they do. They cannot even comprehend why they might like vintage guitars. And I love these certain toddlers that are playing PRSs and then also playing vintage guitars. It's like total polar opposites, right? And you can't do that, dude. You're either one or the other. And if you were to ask them why they like vintage guitars, they would have no idea. And I tried to explain it, but I'm not going to do it again. Anyway, so here's this guy here. And also mahogany neck, walnut fingerboard. I believe it's walnut. Single pickup. And then the reason I did this because I thought, oh, I can go even less than 5.1, but I didn't go. This is 5.5 pounds. I thought I could really show this vintage guitar dealer if he's so much into lightweight, and you know, he's got this thing. I mean, if you take a look at these SGs, they've got all this room. Even this has got a lot of space behind, but that's even more. On a vintage SG, the bridge is like right here, okay, with the neck hanging right off the body. It's absolutely silly. And then a lot of these SGs break right here because there's really nothing holding on. And then the double pickup SGs have to have this area routed out. So all the wood is taken out, and that makes the neck pocket, the neck connection, the coupling of the neck to the body even less secure. So there's almost nothing holding these necks on. Okay, so come on. You think I can play guitar knowing this? No, I can't. It would bother me too much. I got to fix it. So I fixed it. So you see, there's a lot of room back here. And both of these guitars, I went back to glued in necks because I'm saving weight. So I was going to make a pickup and I didn't have the hardware. I ran out of the hardware. And I didn't want to lose any time. I get really anxious when I'm building these. I just want to play them. I want to see if they work out. Every guitar, when you're making a handmade guitar, okay, this is what nobody tells you. There's never guaranteed that it's going to work or it's going to turn out well. I mean, in my case, they do, but you're constantly fighting unforeseen situations, problems, mistakes. And so that's what makes it addictive. Now, with the factories, they got everything dialed in. Okay, what they want to do in the factories, they want to make sure that there's as little as possible human involvement in making these. It's like making toasters. Because when the human gets involved, they've got problems. It's always, you know, first of all, they don't have the humans necessary. Okay, they're not skilled. They might be skilled at screwing in a particular screw. It's like the people working on car assembly lines, and they've been doing that for decades, right? They don't know anything about cars. They're not mechanics. They can't fix a car. All they do is they know how to put in this particular part, which they may not even know what it is. And they do that 200 times a day, just putting that one part on as the assembly line goes by them, right? And so they don't have the skilled humans. Not anymore. Skilled humans are gone. They are gone. And they're not celebrated in society either. And so they have everything dialed in by computer. Computers really saved these companies. If you go back to the 70s, early 80s, the quality was atrocious because they didn't have the skilled labor that they had in the 50s, 40s, whatever, 30s, 20s. And they didn't have computer machines yet. So Hartley Peavey came up with the fact that he can get rid of humans and just put in C, and he was the first ones to use CNC machines, and that really saved their ass. Oh God, did it ever save their ass? Because you gotta remember, they all went out of business. Fender, Gibson, and all these companies, they were all basically either bought out, bankrupt, Gretsch, the whole lot of them. And so anyway, getting back to this guitar, there's not much to say here. Again, same bridge, no intonation screws. Now, I checked these bridges very closely. The intonation on the high E and the low E actually is a tiny, tiny, tiny bit sharp. So that means that if somebody was stupid enough to put those intonation screws back in, they can actually absolutely perfect it as much as you can perfect a wraparound bridge. And just use those intonation screws just the tiniest way, and then it'll be perfect. As perfect as you can get it, this type of bridge.
I gotta tell you, I really hate intonation screws on these bridges, because you can guess why, right? Use the intonation screw, and a tinker, toddler, or both, they're gonna come along, 100%, guarantee it. And they're gonna take a big screwdriver, which you should never use because there's a special tool for that, and they're gonna turn the bolts, the studs, or whatever you call it, the big bolts, right, on both sides. You're going to turn that and totally strip the intonation screws. Well, they're going to grind the intonation screws against the bolt they are turning, and it's going to just chew it up and be disgusting. Anyway, the thing to do is, you know, and it's a hassle because you need to, you should, it's the only way to do it without damaging anything. See, we're trying to prevent damage here. We're trying to prevent damage to the actual inside of the anchor bolts, where the intonation screws grind against it as you're turning those screws. We're trying to prevent that damage, and we're also trying to prevent damage on the head of the bolts. There's a special tool that I guess your average toddler will never buy, right? That is used to turn the head of those bolts without stripping that slot and mangling it. You don't want to mangle this thing, okay? But toddler's not going to worry about that. Or another way you could do it is to take the tension off detune every single string, so there's absolutely no tension on that bridge. And then you still should unscrew the intonation bolts, or rather the intonation screws, the two little intonation screws would still have to be totally away from contacting the height adjustment bolts, the big height adjustment bolts, the anchor bolts. And then you could pretty much even turn those bolts even by hand, because there's no tension on it anymore, right? And but you're working in the blind, because you don't quite know if the strings are not tensioned up, tuned up to pitch. Then you don't know how far you're going up or down in terms of the height of that bridge. Does anybody follow what I'm saying? Probably not. It's to totally screw the intonation screws out away from the anchor bolts, then adjust your bridge for its height, and then intonate it all over again with the intonation screws. And it's a lot of hassle. So how about just placing the bridge correctly and not having to use any of those invasive, damaging intonation screws. Those little intonation screws or sharp intonation screws that are going to chew up those bolts, because some fucking tinker is going to come along. I said big screwdriver? No, they're going to use a little screwdriver and also chew up the bolts too. Oh man, that snake oil sure would have come in handy had it worked. Toddlers have always been a problem for me. Always. So again, 26 frets. And you've got also something unique about these tuners. I'll let you figure out what it is. Let me know if you find out what it is. And take a look at it. Also, lots of pictures on the internet. By the way, the pig guards are only single. It's not a laminated pig guard. It's a single piece of thin plastic, to keep the weight down as much as possible. And this thing is just addictive to play. You just can't stop playing it. It's so smooth. And the reason is, the way I set up guitars is not anything that your local guitar tech can do. And that's why, you can watch my videos. See, look, it's not like I'm trying to be I can't say this on YouTube, but it starts with an F. I'm not trying to be an F. F it. It's the finish that's still stuck to me. It was all over my hands. It flakes off, see? Yeah, there it is, see? It flakes off. But anyway, where was I? Yeah, it's just addictive to play it. And, these fucking morons everywhere, these toddlers, if they only knew. But I don't get exposure. I don't get exposure because I'm not an alien. And I don't play with the aliens. So I pretty much don't get exposure. But that's okay. Let the toddlers be the toddlers they are. They're gonna pay the consequences, like Al Di Meola. See, look at that. It's so nice. It's so nice. 5.5 pounds. Can you handle that? Anyway, I don't know what else to say. That's just the way it goes. I got my magic nut material on there that's got no friction on it, and see, it's right there, not over here. Eric Coleman, coolest guy in the world. All right. Alright, I'm trying out a new camera here, and I don't know if it's going to pick up any of the sound, if it's going to be any good, or if it's going to pick up my voice. I'm just trying it out. But this is the latest Zachary guitar, and I'm actually quite excited about it because it turned out way better than I thought it would.
And the action is just impossible on this guitar. It's just like magical. The fretwork allows it to be super low action, like it's too low, you know what I mean? And the neck is almost completely straight, okay? So if the fretwork isn't good, a guitar would not play set up this way, okay? One pickup. And what I've found is, as crazy as it sounds, you don't need two pickups. Because, well, I don't want to give away too much, but the way I did this, the one pickup is not harsh, it's not too trebly, it's not too choppy, you know, the feeling you get when you play. It's like totally smooth, it's warm, and if you need more warmth, you just bring down the tone a bit, and it just kicks ass. It just kicks ass. And again, the volume knob is right here. And the way I got the inspiration to build this is on Instagram. You've got all these vintage guitar dealers. Now, I don't know who the hell they sell to, but I guess they must be looking for a whole bunch of white boomers to buy these things. But anyway, so regarding his early 60s Gibson SG Junior that he just got in, he was very impressed and bragging about how it's the best guitar and you don't need anything else, you don't need anything more, and the weight is super light. And of course, he is not cognizant of or aware of all the design shortcomings, imperfections, problems with the original Gibson SGs, right? He doesn't think that way. He just sees vintage, vintage guitar. He likes the finish, he likes the color, he likes the relicking, and I get a kick out of these vintage guitar dealers. Have you noticed that every guitar they have is amazing, plays amazing, sounds amazing, it's one of a kind, and then the first inclination, the first response that they get when they get a guitar that's so amazing is they want to sell it. Is that the way everybody thinks? You get something amazing and the first thing that pops into your mind is to get rid of it? What the fuck? Anyway, they're hilarious, these guys. There's so many of them. I have no idea where their customers are. Seriously. Old age homes? Because young people don't play guitar. And they certainly don't play vintage guitars. It doesn't mean anything to them. Oh man, you guys better sell your fucking stock, real or fake or whatever it is. Because the whole market's going, whoa! So the whole vintage guitar industry is a totally hyped up, invented, fake concoction by shysters, to use the appropriate Yiddish term. But the toddler, being the consumer or the vintage dealer, either way, either one, gets very excited at that. But I look at things in a different way, obviously. And I'm saying, if I had that vintage Gibson SG, I would not be happy with it. I would be bothered by it. And eventually, ultimately, I would not play it. And that's the whole purpose behind doing what I do. You understand? See, a normie is a normie, regardless of what realm they're in, regardless of what element they find themselves in, be it politics or be it guitars. It's the same thing. They are not red-pilled. They're not based. They are influenced and controlled by the mainstream media, be it the news media or being the guitar news media. It doesn't matter. It's the same thing. Same effect. They're kept stupid. That's the purpose of mainstream media, to keep you stupid and unaware. Why the fuck are you even here on this channel? You don't belong here. There's hundreds of other channels that'll keep you in your slumber, where you belong. So are you red-pilled and based regarding guitars, or are you a toddler? Are you aware? Do you know the alien? That's the question, ultimately, is it not? Do you know the alien? If you know the alien, you can't be a toddler.
No way. Impossible. If you don't know the alien, you're by definition a toddler. And I asked a question. I said, how light is it? And he said, 6.1 pounds. But I had just built another one like this. The previous one in this video, 248, in natural obichi color. And I said, wow, I built one that's 5.1 pounds. So he didn't really take it seriously what I said. So I said, fuck it. Can you believe it? This guy probably didn't even know who I was. Can you imagine somebody not knowing who I am? It's not even comprehensible to me. He must have been locked up in a basement, and maybe he hasn't even seen sunshine his whole life. Who knows? Scary. But he didn't take me seriously when I said I can build one 5.1 pounds, which is 1 pound lighter. Can you believe it? Not only that, I can build one much better than the original Gibson SG. Keep all the elements that we love and fix all the design disasters. How about that? And make it a truly hardcore player that kicks ass and is meant for the modern player. The high-performance player. A high-performance instrument for the high-performance player. So I said, fuck it. I'm going to build another one. The previous one was a 2-pickup one at 5.1. And I said, I'm going to build another one. It's going to go lower than 5.1. You know, you can guess I was sure I could do it because the second one would be a 1-pickup one. Identical guitar with 1 pickup. It'll be a junior, not a special. It would be a junior. An SG Junior, but it's a Zachary SG, which has nothing to do, no comparison to a Gibson SG except for the body shape. Nothing else. They share nothing else. No DNA. That's just like the Khazars. Wow. I'm getting into a different topic. I can't get away from the aliens, you know what I mean? How can you blame me? I mean, you're probably not aware of any of it, but they're making a real mess of the world. Our world that we live in. Our beautiful world. You know, the Khazars. Forget it. Forget it. Don't worry about it. So I was sure I could do it. But it didn't happen. I'll tell you why. Well, it didn't happen. I had a neck already prefabricated that I made before, and it suited this guitar so much, but the neck is made of heavier, I think that's what it is. The neck is made of heavier mahogany, and when it was all finished and completed, it weighed in at 5.5 pounds. Despite it having only 1 pickup, and despite being made of the exact same body wood, it still weighed in more than its sister. How could that be? It must be the neck wood. Could the body wood be the same species of wood, but it was a bit heavier and I didn't realize it? Because, you know, wood does vary quite a bit, right? Even within a species. But was it from the same board? Maybe not. It was purchased at the same time. I bought a whole bunch of this stuff. It's obichi. Yeah, it's very lightweight. But the body woods are, I mean, these are twins, right? They're pretty much identical twins, but the previous one to this is a 2-pickup. I guess they call that the SG Special. And this is a 1-pickup. The same thing, exactly the same thing, but 1 pickup. And this actually weighs a little bit more than the previous one. Can you believe it? So
Yeah, so the most I could do is 5.1 pound, and then this is 5.5 pounds, you know, and in comparison to his early 60s SG Junior is what it is. SG Junior, one pickup, which weighed in at 6.1 pounds. So I still did a lot better, and you know, it's just a killer guitar. And now, how does it differ? It balances way better. Okay, it's not neck heavy like the Gibson SGs are, and it has 26 frets as opposed to 22, and that basically allows me to modify the balance of the guitar so that it's more the gravity is more central on this guitar. And what else? You notice there's no contouring on the sides. It would have been lighter if I would have added contouring, but I was going off of this very interesting picture that I saw. Another vintage guitar dealer was selling what he said was a prototype SG, and I didn't even think that such a thing existed. And it was an SG, I think 1960 or something, the very first ones they made. I'm even surprised they sold this thing and it got out into the public, and then finally this vintage guitar dealer has acquired it, and he had it for sale, but he took some nice pictures of it, and it had no contouring on it. And that just blew me away. And I thought the SG wouldn't look good without contouring, but it does, and so I figured, wow, I'm gonna use that concept. And so these twins are made the same way with no contouring on the body, but this exact SG shape. And you know, the lightweight aluminum wrap tailpiece, bridge, wrap around, and what else can I tell you? I don't know what else I'm just gonna play, and whatever happens, happens, okay? So. Bring down the tone a bit. So, as I say, it just plays like a dream. It's unbelievable. Your local repair tech cannot set up a guitar like this. Or set up a guitar in this way. Okay. And what else I did with it is I went back to the, you know, on the several of the latest ones, to keep the weight down to its minimum, I went back to the glued in necks. So look at that, glued in necks, and like I say, it's unbelievably light. Anyway, it's just a joy to play, and that's it. What more can I tell you? There's a few little things that I did that are quite unique. I don't even know if I should talk about stuff like this, because it's just going to be copied. You know, all the toddlers are watching.
Toddlers and tinkerers. You know, that's what this show's really about. Toddlers, tinkerers, and the ever-present alien that rules it all, rules the entire world. And if you become alien aware, you will instantly become anti-alien. There's no avoiding it. Now, how would you like to be called anti-alien? How would that make you feel? It should make you feel really good. Really, really good. Yeah.
And they're just going to copy everything. So I have a hard time talking about these guitars. You know, but what do? Do you educate people? with the risk of them copying you and passing it off as their own work and their own intellectual property. You know, I don't like that at all. But that's what happens. That's what happens. And That's it.
See you next time.